I'm cooking early in the morning, cooking these blind witnesses. I'm cooking early in the morning, cooking these blind Laker fans. Cooking early in the morning, every single morning, cooking these blind witness LeBron James fans and these soft Laker fans with these ridiculous trade proposals. We cooking in the early in the morning. Okay, what's up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you live, coast to coast. Welcome to another edition to Just My Opinion podcast. I believe this is episode 47. Let's get into it. All right, so I've been hearing a lot of ridiculous. It just goes to show how dry it is in these YouTube streets, in these social media streets, and when your team, the Los Angeles Lakers, your favorite player, one LeBron James, is watching it from the comforts of their living room, just like the rest of us. Now people got time today with these ridiculous trade proposals. I mean, the playoffs are not even a week old, and we're already talking about the offseason. Just goes to show people got time. I guess people got time today. I don't know. So, and people just making up ridiculous proposals, ridiculous requests, but it is the NBA, it's okay. I'm guilty of it, of talking about ridiculous trade proposals in the rumor mill. Okay, I get that. But this has to be the most dumbest trade proposal in modern NBA history. And what I'm elaborating, what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to is there's a proposal floating around on social media and on YouTube. A lot of content providers on YouTube is gobbling it up, sitting in 3-4 hour live streams talking about this trade proposal. And this trade proposal has to do with a blockbuster deal of Anthony Davis possibly going to either to the New York Knickerbockers or the Chicago Bulls. And the Chicago Bulls, they're willing to give up the Coby White, Demar Derozan, some draft picks, maybe another player or two for Anthony Davis. And I'm assuming the Los Angeles Lakers are going to add their first-round draft pick to sweeten the deal. Now, I've heard various options about these trade proposals. And let's just say, for argument's sake, we just a basic proposal of DeMar DeRozan, the Coby White for Anthony Davis. Let's just say hypothetically, if the deal goes down, that's going to be the official deal that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office and the Chicago Bulls front office, let's just go ahead and hypothetically say that that's the deal. Even though I have heard other players and numerous draft picks, that is the most asinine, dumbest trade proposal / trade rumor / we're not even a month old in the playoffs, and we're already coming out with these ridiculous, dumb trade proposals. It's an awful trade proposal. And what the Laker fans are stating about Anthony Davis, I have said that on the record for numerous years. And one of the reasons why they want to trade Anthony Davis is the fact that Anthony Davis cannot stay fully healthy. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. Why you think I didn't like them trading away Brandon Ingram, who's in the playoffs, Alonzo Ball, who's in the playoffs, Josh Hart, who's in the playoffs. You also mortgage a lot of your draft picks, your future draft picks, that if you would have just kept those draft picks would at least help you somewhat. You gave all that away for Anthony Davis, and now you're just all of a sudden just going to say, well, we'll just throw away all that and we'll just straight up Anthony Davis for DeMar DeRozan and White. Or even if you listen to what a lot of people are saying, Anthony Davis for DeMar DeRozan, White, I think I forgot the center for the Chicago Bulls, and a couple of draft picks, and the Lakers are going to give up Anthony Davis and one of their first round draft picks. So you're just going to just throw away. So basically, if this deal is official, and I don't think this deal is official by any stretch of the imagination. So what you are essentially saying is you made a mistake in getting Anthony Davis in the first place. You gave up too much. You're just alluding to that we gave up way too much for Anthony Davis, which I have been on the record and told you guys you gave way too much for one Anthony Davis. So that's basically what you're saying. You gave up so much for Anthony Davis that you're willing to give Anthony Davis fully wrapped with a bow on top of it to the Chicago Bulls for DeMar DeRozan, and let's just say the base of it, DeMar DeRozan and White. Now, I don't think this is a realistic trade, but everybody said, but whoa, you're not looking at it from the Lakers standpoint. You're not looking at it at the Lakers standpoint. Here's the bigger question. Are y'all even looking at it from the Chicago Bulls standpoint? Why would Chicago give up a lot of their assets, which, by the way, got them into the playoffs? Now, they were hovering around the number one seed. They lost it after the All-Star break. I give you that. But a lot of that is due to the fact that they've been injured. Alonzo Ball been in and out of the lineup. You know, a lot of their key players have been in and out of the lineup. One can also say if they didn't have the injury bug after the All-Star break, who knows what their record would have been and where they would have been in the standings. So why would the Chicago Bulls entertain a trade where they're going to give up a lot of their key players, their key impact players that got them into the playoffs, just to roll the dice for one Anthony Davis? Yeah, I understand what y'all saying. You got to look at what you got to look at it from the Los Angeles Lakers viewpoint. Yeah, but you also got to look at it and be realistic to the Chicago Bulls. They'll be essentially going backwards. Yeah, I know they, after the All-Star break, they lost a lot of games. That has to do with injuries. But it does not have anything to do with their talent level. because the talent level of the Chicago Bulls got them into the position where they are right now. And they're in a better position than the Los Angeles Lakers. In order for a trade to go through, both parties need something. And as of right now, the Chicago Bulls do not need Anthony Davis. Sorry. Sorry for not being sorry. The Chicago is not the Chicago Bulls' responsibility and job to make sure the Los Angeles Lakers go into the playoffs, will be in the playoffs next year. It is not the Chicago Bulls' responsibility or obligation to make sure that to keep LeBron James happy and hopefully that he signs an extension with the Los Angeles Lakers. Because that's not going to happen, folks. In order for that to happen, Jeannie Buss is going to have to relinquish a lot of her power to LeBron James. And that's not going to happen. For that to happen, Robolingua is going to have to either step down or be fired. Now, based on the team's performance next year, Robolingua may be put in a position where he possibly might get he'll be on the hot seat or lose his job, depending on what the Los Angeles Lakers are going to do. Wow. And that's not going to happen. LeBron James is going to play. He's going to play out his contract, and then he's probably going to move on, which that is consistent LeBron James. He is not going to sign an extension with the Los Angeles Lakers. It doesn't matter if Anthony Davis is on the team or DeRozan. If they can somehow orchestrate this deal, which I don't see this trade happening, if they can orchestrate this deal to get DeRozan, let's just say DeRozan and White. I just don't see it happening, folks. It's just not going to happen. This is a ridiculous deal. Anybody that's putting any type of respect or saying this is official or if you're making a 3-hour live stream or your podcast is over an hour about the possibility of the Los Angeles Lakers going to trade Anthony Davis to the Chicago Bulls, and the Chicago Bulls are willing to help the Lakers make their team better by sabotaging their team, giving up on players that are contributing and helping the Chicago Bulls, you're an idiot. You clearly don't know anything about basketball. You have no idea, no inkling on how business works in professional sports. Once again, in order for a trade to go through, both parties are going to get something out of it. Why would the Chicago Bulls entertain the notion of trading away a lot of their key factors, a lot of their key parts that got them in the postseason in the first place for an Anthony Davis that can't stay healthy? Now, all the Los Angeles Lakers fans, all the LeBron James apologists and fans and stands are now utilizing and saying what we all have been saying for years. Now they're using, well, the best ability is availability, and Anthony Davis is never available because he's always injured. Now you want to use that argument after you done had years of tape of Anthony Davis with the New Orleans Pelicans can't play a full season. As of right now, Anthony Davis, even though he's 28 years old, I don't think Anthony Davis can play half of a season. There are a lot of experts out there saying that, well, if Anthony Davis can play a quarter of the season, just imagine how much impact he's going to have with the Lakers or whoever trades for him. So wait, I'm trading for Anthony Davis, and I'm trading on the fact that Anthony Davis is going to play a quarter of a season. Well, you have to do a lot of load managing and reduce his minutes, and I mean he's a pretty effective player if you can get him for a quarter of the season. Maybe shut it down when you reach that quarter, when you reach that quota. It's all about that quota. The ridiculous things people say. First of all, you gave up way too much for Anthony Davis, Los Angeles Lakers. Let's just start right there, shall we? Let's just start right there. You gave up way too much for Anthony Davis in the first place, which I was pretty much the only one on social media, particularly on YouTube, that was saying that the Los Angeles Lakers, even when it was entertaining to trade, when the first proposal came out, when Magic Johnson was running the front office, he didn't want to go through with it because he said, quote, we're giving up way too much for AD. AD is an extraordinary talent. Would love to have AD donning the purple and gold, but this is business-wise, this does not make the best sense. Basketball-wise, I can see how this can launch our team into the postseason if you pair him up with LeBron James. But we're going to have to give up so much just to get him. And that's why that deal fell through. Then along came Rob Pelinka. Magic Johnson steps down, talking about, he didn't want to be a full-time front office executive. He loves his freedom, which I'm pretty sure he does. He loves being Magic, and it's hard being Magic, and you're working in the front office. I understand that. In comes Rob Pelinka. And everybody's talking about, Rob Pelinka, he was the only one to orchestrate that move. You know what Rob Pelinka did? He looked at the first draft of what the Pelicans wanted in return, and he didn't appreciate the assets that he was giving to New Orleans because he didn't draft these players. He had no respect for none of these players. He didn't understand what all the time, resources that Magic and the old regime was doing when they was drafting these players like Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Alonzo Ball. He didn't appreciate those players because they were not his guys. So he had no problem saying, you know what? If that's what y'all want, plus y'all want draft picks, okay, cool. I'll do it. So they get Anthony Davis, and yes, they won a championship. It was an NBA shortened season. They had a month in between the seasons and the postseason. Anthony Davis played a lot of those games because, the season was broken down into twos. They did the play-in tournament. They took time off for that. And they played in a bubble format. Now, all championships are created equal, but like I always say, people don't remember a championship. People remember dynasties and championships with an S. Plural, not singular. This is a what have you done for me lately league. Simple. Ever since they won the title, they defended their title, they lost to the Phoenix Suns in defending their title. Now, this is the second straight, now it's year 2. They're not even in the playoffs. They had a hard time making the play-in tournament, folks. And now we're here today in 2022 of them saying, you know what, this Anthony Davis experiment is not working. Let's just cut our losses and just trade him for a DeRozan and White, which on paper, if you look at it from the Lakers' perspective, they're hardly giving up. You know, the only thing they're giving up is the key factor that DeRozan, who was cutting up, he was cutting up this year, and they added DeRozan with those other parts. Which, by the way, if the Lakers would have played it smart, they could have gotten DeRozan in the offseason of this year. They could have gotten Buddy Hield this year, but instead they chose. Oh man, they got breakfast out. In a way, and they chose. Hold up, let me turn this around. They chose Russell Westbrook, and that's where the damage was done. Give me a few seconds. Man, I see some extraordinary vittles I can pick up. So hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. So, if you watched and paid attention to Magic Johnson on First Take, and I believe this was a couple of weeks ago, he talked about the Los Angeles Lakers in their offseason. And, we all know Magic Johnson has a relationship with the Buss family and Jenny Buss, and still has a line with the front office, even though Rob Pelinka is doing his old job. And I remember Magic talking about he felt betrayed and sort of backstabbed by Rob Pelinka, but they still have a working relationship. So obviously, Magic Johnson, when he talked about this on, I believe it was on Get Up, not First Take. I think First Take was playing clips of it, highlights of it. He talked about how what the front office wanted to do was sign DeRozan, keep Alex Caruso, DeRozan, and a Buddy Hield. They was going to trade Kuz straight up for Buddy Hield. I don't know how they could have orchestrated that trade without adding something else to it, because the money really didn't match for a straight up swap like that, but that's neither here nor there. And literally they would have and keep the assets that they lost in the offseason. So if they would have kept everything in status quo, and now you add DeRozan, Buddy Hield into the mix, I feel like that team could have at least got them into the second round. A lot of people are saying that. Even Jalen Rose mentioned that and echoed the same sentiments I said, that team right there could have at least got them into the second round. That was a 50-plus team regular season win team, in my opinion. Their defense would have been actually better. Now, you got your head coach there for the Los Angeles Lakers, Vogel, who's a defensive-minded coach. Those players would fit in his mode, in his mindset of being a defensive-minded coach. Those players would have fit a lot better. They would have at least made it into the second round. And then, who knows after that? They may be representing the West in the NBA Finals. Now, it's not a slam dunk guarantee that would have happened, and it definitely would not have been a slam dunk guarantee of them winning in the finals. But that team would have been a lot better than what they got right now. Instead, they got an aging Carmelo Anthony. And, Carmelo Anthony would have joined that team coming off the bench. But now you're depending heavily on a Carmelo Anthony. You don't have Alex Caruso. You really don't have a lot of depth on the bench. And now you truly depending on, for this to work out, Anthony Davis will have to play more than half of the games in the NBA regular season. For this to truly happen, LeBron James would have to play more games. Now, he was being sidelined due to injuries, load management, whatever y'all want to say, and not to mention the fact he was sort of chasing individual personal achievements like the all-time scoring leader. I mean, that's fine and dandy if he wants to do that, but who even talks about it? When Kareem had it, who was really gunning for that? Who was really even talking about that? That wasn't the local topic in barbershop talk conversation, bar conversation. No podcast or, Fox Sports 1 or ESPN no one was talking about, oh, did y'all know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the scoring leader? That's a record that we need to talk about. I mean, and I explained to you guys in multiple live streams how the NBA, they just don't, it's not like baseball. Baseball, they chase stats like that. That's a baseball thing. That's, basketball, we always talk about the great ones. We always talk about the dynasties. We always talk about the superstars, but we never talk about the personal stats and the achievements. Even when we do talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we don't even mention that. But, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, he will have to put that aside if he wanted to contend for another ring. Obviously, he wouldn't have been chasing so heavily for the scoring title, all-time scoring title. He would have to put that to a side if he would have had that roster, because DeRozan can sort of play off the ball, so that's a weapon as far as his assists would go up. Actually, his assists would go up, and his three-point shots would have went down. He wouldn't have been jacking so many shots. But on the flip side of it, now you got options. You got Alex Caruso, you got Carmelo Anthony, you got DeRozan. You got to feed those boys if you're LeBron James. You even got Buddy Hield. Not to mention the fact that ARP, y'all talk about him. Well, AR-17, I forgot his official name. So think of all the guys you would have had that would have been more athletic. They would have been better perimeter defensive players. And you got to feed these guys because these guys could sort of play off the ball. So now LeBron would have went back to a facilitator, right? There's no way in the world he could justify jacking up a lot of shots when you got that type of talent on the floor, right? Instead, you got Russell Westbrook. You're depending heavily on Carmelo Anthony. Anthony Davis got the injury bug. LeBron got the injury bug, sort of. He didn't get it. I mean, he didn't miss a lot of time, but he did miss some time. And, forget worrying about trying to make it into the playoffs. Y'all had a hard enough time making it into the play-in tournament. And LeBron saw that, and he said, you know what? Let me change the narrative, and let me try to go for this all-time scoring leader. And that's what he'd been pretty much on the campaign for the second half of the season. And now the Los Angeles Lakers are not in the play-in. They're not going to be representing themselves in the playoffs. And now you're hearing talk about what can the Los Angeles Lakers do as far as upgrading that roster. What can they do? And now you're getting these ridiculous reports that the Los Angeles Lakers are going to are in the running to get DeMar DeRozan, who the Chicago Bulls just got last offseason. And how that makes the Bulls better, because it makes the Lakers better, but the Lakers, but guys, y'all could have gotten DeRozan in the offseason if you would have guaranteed that extra year. That was the sticking point. It wasn't a sticking point for the Chicago Bulls. Not to mention the fact that I felt like LeBron really didn't pressure the front office in getting DeRozan high priority, because he was more he had his heads in the cloud about Russell Westbrook trying to make that work when we all knew it wasn't going to work, because now you got a player in LeBron James that desperately seeking Susan needs the ball. He can't play. LeBron can't play off the ball. He never had that ability to play off the ball. And now you got another player, which is Russell Westbrook. He too desperately seeking Susan needs the ball, and he can't play off the ball either. So now it's you essentially, and a lot of people are not saying this, but essentially, LeBron James was trying to recreate Magic once again when he was with the Miami Heat. Because remember, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and Chris Bosh and LeBron taking his talent to South Beach, and in that first year, they're trying to figure it out, trying to make it work. And, that second year, Dwayne Wade said, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. We're going to play off you, LeBron. And that's when they started winning, being in the NBA Finals. They won 2 titles with that ideal. And LeBron James saying to himself, well, we can recreate Magic in Tinseltown. And Russell Westbrook. Well, let's get Russell Westbrook. 2 ISO players. Now we got LeBron and Russell Westbrook. And LeBron, and he's not going to mention this publicly, but he was thinking, I can be like a Dwayne Wade, where I can fall back and let Russell Westbrook cook and let Russell Westbrook be Russell Westbrook. But there's a caveat to that. Yes, he agreed to fall back some, but the difference between why it worked when Dwayne Wade fell back versus LeBron James falling back, LeBron James, it doesn't have those options or capabilities to play off the ball. In certain spots, Dwayne Wade could do that. But also Dwayne Wade, in essence, had to take a backseat approach, allowing LeBron to be numero uno with the ball. Because he saw that LeBron James is extremely successful when he's ball dominant. Yes, he can. There's a possibility he will score, but there's the likelihood of him setting up his players. When you look at Russell Westbrook, he's the other way around. He wants the ball and he wants to shoot the ball. And maybe occasionally he'll throw an assist. Maybe. And that's why that did not work. And now the Los Angeles Lakers are saying, you know what? If we had to do it all over again, we definitely would have done things differently. You could have gotten DeRozan and literally not have to give up nothing. You could have signed Alex Caruso, even though it wouldn't free you up with a lot of money to get anything else outside of free agency. But what did they get other than Carmelo Anthony? What good is having all this money and the only thing you got was Carmelo Anthony? That's neither here nor there. But if they would have gotten DeRozan through free agency, signed Alex Caruso, traded Buddy Hield for Kuz, or even trade Buddy Hield for Kuz and I forgot the other player that is now playing in Charlotte. I used to be on him. I used to be on his case all the time. He used to play for the Clippers. Then he went to the Los Angeles Lakers for revenge. He didn't even, that wasn't even a money move or a basketball move. That was clearly a revenge move. He was clearly in his emotions, and his emotions got the best of him, because now he's at Charlotte. No, wait a minute. He's still in Washington. No, he's at Charlotte when Charlotte was about to offer him the max a couple of years ago. Now, I forgot the guy's name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the point of it is, the beauty of it is, you could have packaged those 2 guys and gotten Buddy Hield. So that roster would have been better than the roster that you have right now. So, yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm not going to keep going on and on and on about it. I didn't realize I was going to spend a whole 40 minutes talking about this. Guys, rate, comment, subscribe. Subscribe and enjoy. You will not be disappointed. Please hit the join membership button. Support the channel that way as well. It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you live, coast to coast. I will see you guys on the next episode of Just My Opinion podcast. We had fun. All right. When this goes out, y'all can catch the re-air. If you guys want to comment in the comment section, I will reply to your comments. Even though I haven't gotten the chance to reply to the comments of the last live stream. So anyway, y'all have a productive Friday morning. I will see you guys later. I'm up out of here. Deuces.